Greek mythology is made up by the bodies of myths and legends that belong to the ancient Greeks, which help to explain their gods and heroes, the nature of the world, and the origins and importance of the ritual practices. These myths were passed down through history by oral tradition until Hesiod and Homer decided to record it all in stories, which are now known as the Greek myths. Some of these myths were altered by the writers to make it more interesting for the readers, but overall, the myths are what the ancient Greeks believed in as their religion. The myths are used to explain the origin of the world and how it came to be. They are also used to detail the lives and adventures of the Greek gods and goddesses. There were many gods and goddesses in Greek mythology, but the most common ones are the Olympians. The Olympians are the gods and goddesses that live on Mount Olympus and watch over the rest of the world. Each Olympian has a different role in which they use to either benefit or cause chaos to the other gods or mortals. Meet the Olympians. First is Zeus, the leader of the Olympians and the god of lightning and the sky. Poseidon, the god of the ocean, floods, and earthquakes. He is the brother of Zeus and Hades and holds the trident as his weapon. Dionysus, the god of wine and celebration, theater, and art. Apollo, the god of music, archery, and prophecy. Hermes, the heavenly messenger of the gods who deals with commerce and thieves. Ares, the god of war, violence, and civil order. Hephaestus, the god of fire and the blacksmith and craftsman for the gods. Hades, the god of the underworld and death. Hera, the queen of the gods, Zeus's wife, and the goddess of marriage, family, kings, and the empire. Artemis, the goddess of the hunt, archery, and animals. Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. Athena, the goddess of wisdom, defense, and war. Demeter, the goddess of agriculture and the seasons. The Olympians are the community of faith for the Greeks. This means that the religious leader is the gods and goddesses, and to be more precise, Zeus. The original leader was Uranus until Cronus overthrew him. Cronus then had 6 kids with Rhea, one of them being Zeus. Zeus ultimately overthrew his father and became the new and current ruler. The rest of the Olympians are considered to be the hierarchy. People believed that the gods would often take physical form and walk around the earth having human affairs, which sometimes resulted in children and would mess with the fate of mankind. Since this was believed, the gods and humans were very close to one another and were both closely connected to the world and what took place. Having the mortals and the gods so close, the people believed in the oracle. This is the priest who hears the message. The Greeks believed that you could communicate with the gods at certain times, locations, and through certain people. The gods would give back advice or predict the future. Although the gods and humans seemed close, this was not the case when it came to religious teaching. This states that the gods were over and better than the humans. The belief of the gods being all-powerful scared some of the mortals, causing them to not let go of their faith but not follow willingly. The people also believed in the creation myth of Greek mythology. In the beginning, there was only chaos and a void. Gaia was born out of this chaos and gave birth to Uranus and Pontus. Gaia and Uranus gave birth to the Titans. Uranus hated his kids and locked all of them in the underworld except for Cronus. Gaia planned revenge and called upon Cronus, one of the Titans, to help. Cronus hurt his father and the blood gave birth to the giants, Malia and Aphrodite. Cronus then became king and married Rhea. Together they had 6 kids: Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus. Cronus swallowed all of his kids except for Zeus. Rhea then hid Zeus in a cave, and years after, Zeus consulted Metis, who gave him a drink that would make Cronus throw up the first 5 children. Cronus was tricked and drank what Zeus gave him, resulting in the 5 siblings coming back. Zeus saved Gaea's children from the underworld, and they rewarded the gods with gifts. They gave Zeus a lightning bolt, Hades a helmet, and Poseidon a trident. The Olympic gods and Titans went to war, and the Olympians won. In the end, the gods stayed on Mount Olympus, where they were all-powerful and had total control. The creation story is considered to be one of the sacred stories. These are myths, which are very old texts including the Homeric hymns of Hesiod's Theogony and works and days. These writings have authority and were inspired by the Muses. The more popular myths include the birth of Athena, creation of man, the creation 2, the returns of the Greek heroes, the Trojan horse, the Trojan War, and Zeus's lovers. There are 3 types of myths. The first is analytic myths, which explain the reasoning behind why something is the way it is. This includes nature myths, origin myths, and ritual myths. The second is historical myths, which talk about the historical events that took place. The third is psychological myths, which help explain why we feel and act the way we do. Greek mythology also consists of many symbols. Each god and goddess has a different symbol. Zeus, the thunderbolt and eagle. Poseidon, the trident and horse. Hera, the crown and peacock. Ares, the shield and spear. Apollo, the bow and arrow and wolf. Artemis, the bow and arrow and moon. Hephaestus, the quail and hammer. Demeter, grain and winged creatures. Hermes, winged sandals and helmet. Dionys, grapes and goblets. Aphrodite, dove and rose. Athena, owl and helmet with spear. Hades, horn helmet and fire. Within this religion, people participate in sacred rituals and practices. One rite of passage was the festival of Amphidromia. This is a ceremonial feast that is celebrated on the 5th or 7th day after a child is born. The whole family is invited to participate and be introduced to the newborn. The event takes place in the evening, and family members bring gifts for the baby and the parents. At this festival, the gender of the baby is revealed by the way the house is decorated. If it is decorated with olive branches, it's a boy, and if it has garlands of wool, it's a girl. The child is then carried around a fire by the nurse so the child can be presented to the gods of the house and to the family. They are also given their name at this time. The woman who helped out with the birth would then wash their hands to purify themselves, and the ceremony would finish with a feast. In Greek mythology, the fear of committing hubris is considered to be a serious crime. This can consist in many forms, from rape to discretion of a corpse. The Greeks emphasized moderation, but pride only became part of hubris when taken into extreme measures. The Greeks also believed that athletics and intellect are equally important and had many competitions that included both. Hubris is one of the worst traits one can act upon in the world of ancient Greece and can bring upon the worst kind of destruction. It is also believed that you cannot change fate. There are only 3 people who can make your fate: Sister Clotho, who spins the thread of life; Lachesis, who assigns each person's destiny; and Atropos, who carries the scissors to snip the thread of life and its end. These 3 pervade all the Greek myth stories. Nothing can be done to alter or prolong the destiny of one's life. Overall, Greek mythology consists of layers and layers of myths and stories, and is a complicated religion at the looks of it, but after digging through all the myths, it's clear to see why this religion is practiced and how all the myths interconnect to create the religion.